Today's morning coffee vinyl side. Metro. Metro's 11 Days from Christmas, 1976. In 1976, after a trip to the Sally Ann to pick up some clothing, Les Pavelick arrived at Regina's CKCK office Halloween party dressed in a vintage tweed suit and cap that made him look like a displaced country bumpkin. Adopting a comedic accent that was Ukrainian by intent, Les Pavelick began to entertain his radio station friends and colleagues in character, a pragmatic, country-wise, Ukrainian farmer type with a slightly skewed take on the world who he named Metro. Ethnic humor was all the rage at the time, particularly in the rural communities and provinces that still had a lot of first-generation European settlers. The gap between new and old, country and city, and metro and rural was a source of much Canadian laughter. His routine was so successful, he was asked to perform at a local lodge in the coming weeks. Suddenly, Les Pavelick had stumbled into a new career. Years of developing the character followed, with television and radio appearances, bars, club, and lodge performances, conventions, fundraisers, fairs, and festivals. But unlike Nestor Pister, a similar character-based funny man who we've heard before on earlier morning coffee vinyl side spins, Metro never worked blue. He was clean, and his humor good-spirited. People young and old loved him. This afforded him more commercial opportunities, and he became a very successful pitchman. Recorded in Vancouver in 1976, Metro's 11 Days from Christmas ended up going gold in Canada, selling over 50,000 units and garnering Metro radio play all through the 70s and 80s, even into the 90s with its title track. I remember Metro from seeing him on TV as a kid, and one of his early catchphrases, "working, not working." I also remember the stereotype of the Ukrainian farmer and his folk wisdom and slightly backwards take on the world as something embraced by Ukrainians too. My Uncle Lloyd, a proud Ukrainian who worked for the Department of Agriculture, loved to joke about eating cabbage and sausage, and was known to stuff whole rings of kielbasa down his pants at parties and family events and whip them out on the unsuspecting for great comedic effect. I also learned never to eat the kielbasa at Uncle Lloyd's house. I expected this album to be more problematic, but it's not, and I'm glad for that. Though ethnic humor has come under cultural scrutiny and fallen out of favor, it's important to acknowledge that when done in good taste and intent, particularly back in the day, that it served more as a bridge to bring people together than a wedge to divide. But of course, it's complicated, and today's post isn't about complications. Les passed away in 2013 at the age of 71 from a heart attack, and although the collective memory is fading, there are still many who spin Metro's 11 Days from Christmas with a yearning for the past and those who are no longer here to celebrate with us. I want to acknowledge both my mother and my Auntie Marilyn, who we lost this year. It's our first Christmas without them both. My heart goes out to my cousins and Uncle Ron, and to all those that loved and cared for my mother too.